Hello YouTube. Today we're reviewing Plum Pudding. So this is a blend I have actually only smoked twice now. 1.5 times because I've only smoked through about half the bowl. I'm gonna light it up here in a few minutes. So I'm gonna call this series Tobacco Reviews in My Car. It's like that because I actually can't smoke in my house currently. I moved a couple months ago and we actually moved back in with my parents, my wife and I. Not because we needed to, actually. We moved in to help them out. We had a cancer diagnosis in the family and they needed some help, and so we moved back in with them. It's like a sort of a house that's attached to their house sort of deal, and but they don't want to smoke inside the house, so I'm trying to respect that and not do so. So I do most of my smoking in my car or, you know, out on the patio or something like that. So I don't smoke in the house anymore because of family and allergies and stuff like that. So anyway, Plum Pudding, like I said, I've smoked it now about 1.5 times, and I really like this blend. And for these reviews, I'm just going to kind of be giving my thoughts and tell you a little bit about it. And if you're a new pipe smoker, or you know, you've never tried it before, this will give you maybe a little bit of an idea of if it's something you might like or not. So Plum Pudding, I'm going to read a description of it from tobaccoreviews.com, which is a reputable site that pretty much all pipe enthusiasts kind of go to look for other people's thoughts and whatnot about certain blends. So Plum Pudding is an English Balkan blend like no other. Rare tobaccos crafted and pressed carefully together. Many pipe smokers say it is their perfect tobacco. Nirvana, said one reviewer. Master blender Joe Langford, who is no longer with us, rest in peace, created this treasure for the Seattle Pipe Club, our perfect tobacco. Delicious, smoky, spicy, and positively addictive. Truly an exquisite tobacco to share. Enjoy this original cake of 6 rare ingredients. Latakia joins with Turkish Orientals, Virginia's Cavendish, and Perique, crafting the most sought after small batch blends in America since 2007. And so, like, it pretty much mentioned that already, but its contents are going to be black Cavendish. Then it says Cavendish, so I'm not sure if there's 2 different kinds of Cavendish or what. It's possible. Latakia, Oriental / Turkish tobacco, Perique, and Virginia's. So if you don't know much about tobaccos, black Cavendish is going to be like basically a stewed or like a roasted tobacco that cooks under pressure for like a long period of time, and this caramelizes the sugars in the tobacco, and so what happens is it becomes really sweet. A lot of times what it's used for, and especially in English blends like this one is a Balkan / English blend. It's used to kind of smooth things out most typically. If there's any harshness or whatever, it just kind of smooths things out. So there's the black Cavendish, right? Latakia, that's going to be your earthiness, your smokiness, leather notes, things like that usually come from typically Latakia. Oriental or Turkish, so that is my favorite blend component usually of English blends. I really love Turkish / Oriental tobaccos. It's going to be some spiciness, sweetness, a little bit of almost like a sweet and sour kind of thing going on. Sometimes you get some floral notes from Orientals. A pretty wide range of kind of what they can bring to any tobacco blend. Then Perique, which is a specialty of Louisiana. I don't believe it's made anywhere else in the world. That's going to be, I'm not sure the exact process. I know there's some cooking involved and whatnot. And I believe it's left to soak in rum. Anyway, it's peppery. It's a little bit of sweet. It's it's got its own thing. There's just a little bit in there though. And then there's Virginia's, which is going to also provide a little bit of maybe some floral notes, earthiness, depending on the type of Virginia's used. And then you're going to have some sweetness as well from the Virginia's. It's a high sugar tobacco. All right, so that's that's sort of the blend components. And it comes in a crumble cake, and I don't have that because I already loaded my pipe up with it this evening. I'm smoking out of my Royal Dutch. This is my travel pipe, and I've actually been smoking this all day, actually. Anyway, so the Royal Dutch is what I'm smoking out of, And so what the crumble cake is it's not exactly like a plug, but it's not a ribbon cut either. So it's usually like little planks of tobacco that you kind of have to break up. And I find with crumble cakes that I typically, what I'll do is you'll have kind of like what the 3-pinch sort of method, where you'll pinch some in and fill it up, and then lightly tamp it down so it's kind of springy, then do a second batch and tamp it down a little firmer, and then the last batch you like fill it towards overflowing and really like tamp it down pretty hard. With that's like ribbon cuts most typically. With crumble cakes, I find that it just, you like fill it up once, tamp it down kind of medium, and then fill it up again really full and tamp it down again, and that's usually good for a crumble cake. I don't know why that is exactly. I feel like because maybe with crumble cakes it's like a little chunkier, whereas a ribbon cut is kind of like literally little ribbons, and so it maybe packs a little tighter, a little easier. I'm not exactly sure. So I'm just going to give sort of my thoughts on the blend. I'm going to light it up here in a second, and I've written down some notes as far as kind of what I've picked up so far smoking this blend. So let's slide her back up. If you are new to Englishes, like you're an aromatic smoker, and maybe you've had some Englishes and they're too heavy for you, give this one a try. Especially if you're not a huge fan of like the intense smokiness of Latakia, this one might be a good fit for you, because the Latakia is not in the forefront. It's there in the background, but it's not in the forefront. So, kind of right off jump, what kind of popped out to me about this blend, the very first time I smoked it, I was getting a lot more of dry fruit notes. So like, think like the name, like some figginess, you know, which are Plum. This is Future Chris coming in to mention that I realized I made a mistake when I was talking about the flavor notes of this. I said that, well, as far as the dried fruit goes, that it was like figs were dried and they were basically dried plums. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. It's not that at all. Prunes are like basically like cooked down in their own juice. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I misspoke. I'm sure there's going to be people in the comments, if people leave comments on this video, going, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, dried fruit notes. That's the point. Dried fruit notes. Plumminess. Fucking pruniness, whatever. In a good way. I was getting those notes from it. Just like this dried fruitiness. This time around, I got more of like just like a stewed or maybe like caramelized sugar notes. So it was less fruity. I'm definitely getting fruit notes, but it's there's a decent amount of sweetness, especially for an English blend. In my experience, a lot of Englishes aren't nearly this sweet, but I like it. It's not like unbalanced in my opinion. It's not too sweet. So there's definitely a lot of sweetness, and I'm sure that sort of what I'm talking about, that caramelized, almost like brown sugar, maybe a touch of maple in the background, that kind of sweetness, I'm pretty sure that's going to be coming from the Cavendish. So I noticed some dried fruit, and this blend does not, as far as I understand, have any toppings. So all these notes are just coming from the tobaccos. It's not like they throw a plum topping on this blend or anything. It's an English tobacco. So I got the stewed, almost dried fruit notes. It's almost caramel, almost like burnt sugar, but like in a good way, sweetness to it. There's a bit of mustiness to it, not in a bad way. It's more like an earthiness. And it's probably Most likely going to be coming possibly from some of the Latakias that are in here. And then possibly the Orientals as well are providing that. You get small notes of floral, kind of hits here and there when you're smoking it. And occasionally, actually, just then, it hit that Latakia is really giving a little bit of a smoky background. Now, once again, this is not Latakia Ford. It's just kind of supplementing in the background. And every now and then you'll get a little bit of the spiciness from the Perique. So a little bit of leatheriness, smokiness from the Latakia. This blend is very, very well balanced. It is, no one component is really kind of pushing its way to the front. They all work in harmony. Mr. Langford knows or knew what he was doing. Again, rest in peace. I will say, it's not doing it so much for me right now, but this blend did tend to kind of, the first time I smoked it and then earlier when I was smoking it, smoked a little hot for me. And what I mean by that is I have been smoking a while now. I don't tend to hotbox my pipes or get tongue bite. And I didn't get tongue bite with this blend, but I noticed that I couldn't really smoke it at the cadence that I can some other blends. I kind of had to pull it back a little bit. So maybe it's this pipe. This is not like the most high quality pipe. I like this pipe, but you know, this was a relatively cheap pipe. It's one I bought for like on the go, out and about, you know, and if something happened to it, it wouldn't be the end of the world for me. So maybe some of it, like where I feel like the bowl heating up a lot is because of that, but I'm pretty sure the first time I smoked it, it was a different pipe. I think it was one of my Sharts and seconds that I was smoking that in that time. And I was still noticing that it was heating that bowl up quite a bit. Like right now, because I'm talking so much, it's just warm. Maybe that's part of why it's not heating up as much. But earlier, I noticed again, it was heating up. And so what that means is that this blend is something to savor and enjoy. You know, this is not, in my opinion, when you load up and you smoke while you're in the workshop and you're just kind of puffing through it. You know, this is most likely going to be maybe an after supper or after lunch. You know, it's not so heavy that you can't smoke it during the day. That's not the issue. I think it's just one that you should probably take your time smoking if you're going to smoke it. Overall, it's a really good blend. I like it quite a bit. You know, it doesn't break top 3 for me currently, or even top 5. But I can see it working its way into my top 10 maybe. And it's definitely, it's going to be my rotation. I'm going to keep coming back to it. I'm going to keep, you know, smoking it. I will say though, if you are somebody that, you don't have much of a budget for this sort of thing, if you're trying to get into pipes and whatnot, this might not be the best blend for you if you're worried too much about a budget, because it comes out to, for a 2-ounce tin, it's around $20. At least where I bought it from. I'm not sure about other sites. I bought it from pipesandscigars.com, and it was $20 for a 2-ounce tin. I know if you buy the 8-ounce, which I might do next time, it comes up to $60, so it's significantly cheaper if you break it down like per ounce when you do it that way. But I bought two 2-ounce tins so far. You know, that's $40 right there for only 4 ounces of tobacco. So it's pretty expensive, but I think it's worth it because this is a really well done blend. I like it quite a bit, and like I said, it's going to be part of my regular rotation, and who knows, maybe we'll update it in the future and it will make it into my top 3. Blends have a way of growing on you the more you smoke them, and over time you kind of becomes like an old friend, you know, something you can rely on. It's not always true. Sometimes you just smoke a tobacco and it's just not for you and you don't like it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I really like Plum Pudding, and there's a lot of people that have reviewed this tobacco out there. You know, it's been around for a while. It is well beloved by the pipe smoking community, and for good reasons. It's a great blend. I would say currently, if I had to rate it 1 through 10, so for me, 1 would be like the cheap, dime store shit tobacco, some filler crap that isn't even worth smoking, right? That's like 1. And 10 for me is like Maltese Falcon by GLPs, or My Mixture 965, like my favorite blends. I would only put like 10 for my top 5, favorite blends, something like that. Right now, I would give this one a solid 7, like maybe a 7.5 at the most for me currently. It's good. I like it a lot. Like I said, it'll be my rotation, but it's not currently one of my favorites. Now, once again, this is just my taste. This is not anyone else's. Sorry, neighbor's dog is barking. I guess he just noticed me in the car right here, and that's a problem for him. Anyway, if I was someone with bad intentions, it'd be a little late. But anyway, it is a good blend. I really like this a lot. I may touch on it later on down the road, give an update as far as sort of my thoughts on it or whatnot. But for now, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say Seattle Pipe Club's Plum Pudding is a 7.5 for me out of 10. It's good. If you're interested in Englishes and you don't want something that's super light yet heavy, and you want something that's nice and balanced, give it a try. Just be careful and remember that it, at least for me, has smoked a little hot, so maybe just take your time with it. And if you've never smoked a crumble cake before and you've only smoked ribbon cuts, which are most common nowadays, just be careful how you pack it, because you can definitely overpack, and then it'll be very difficult to smoke. So I would only pinch it and pack it a couple times instead of like that 3-pinch method like I was mentioning earlier in the video. I would, just make sure you pack it loose enough. Not so loose that you have too much draw, but just really, more than anything, when you're packing a pipe, watch the draw. That's really the most important thing. Anyway, so that is my review of Plum Pudding. See you in the next one.